Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are taking a look at the new Infinite Dragon Ball history, which for global is stage 24 currently, but it will be stage 25. I know it's all a bit confusing, it always is when they bring out an IDBH with JP, but there's been one before it. The numbering kind of gets all messed up. But yeah, basically this is the Realm of the Gods IDBH, Infinite Dragon Ball history, and it features noticeable Realm of the Gods based units throughout the time of Dragon Ball. So it starts with Mr. Popo, moves on to Kami, and then kind of starts to cycle through units from there. I think it goes Mr. Popo, Kami, then it goes into Supreme Kai of West, then it goes to the Grand Kai, then I believe it goes to Supreme Kai and Kibito, and then it goes to the Beerus, and then it goes to Whis. Yes, that is the correct order of things. Generally speaking, these stages are quite easy. I'll talk about our team build, but generally speaking, the stage is not too hard. There's a couple of things you're going to want to keep track of, but I think for the most part it's kind of standard IDBH affair, with some of the units having some interesting mechanics and some not having so many interesting mechanics. But Popo is pretty straightforward. Kami as well is also a relatively straightforward fight. Neither of them appear to do anything too dramatic. I mean, Kami doesn't even do the Namekian heal thing, which is like what they always do. Kami's immune to like stunning, he's immune to sealing, and this starts pretty early in this fight and kind of just continues onwards. So most of them, if not all of them, are immune to stunning and sealing, so none of that's going to help you out here. And we'll talk through each boss as we get there in terms of their mechanics, but yeah, there's not too much really to take note of. I believe the Grand Kai has the ability to randomly seal one of your units. The Supreme Kai and Kibito also have the ability to seal one of your units. Beerus has the ability to evade, as well as also massively lowering defense, or greatly lowering defense I should say. And then Whis will negate evasion that your units have, and he will also stun you for one turn while also lowering your attack and defense. So pretty standard stuff, I guess. Whis hits relatively hard. I believe his attack stat is around 600k or so, which is decent, but it's not anything too crazy. The missions for this IDBH are to use 3 Realm of the Gods units and 3 Legendary Existence units. We have quite a few of these units in the team. We've gone for a couple of free-to-play options as well. So on the Legendary Existence side, things are a little bit harder to put together from the free-to-play aspect. There's not too many great Legendary Existence category units, so that obviously did somewhat detriment us. But we've gone with some pretty, I would say stock standard ones. So the MUI Goku, he counts as one. He's one Legendary Existence category character. Transforming Goku, he counts, and then we also have the Supreme Kai as well. So those are like our 3 Legendary Existence category characters, and then we also have a couple Realm of the Gods. The whole team is Realm of the Gods, but the free-to-play is obviously the Strength a la Vegito. That's definitely a noticeable free-to-play unit, and obviously the aforementioned Supreme Kai. We have on the friend lead side, we have the blue Goku and Vegeta. They are going to be our friend lead, and we'll talk through all the units, passives and everything relatively soon. In terms of anything important here, there's nothing too crazy. Honestly, that does happen with Anine. So it was Anine, sorry, in terms of phases. So there's nothing too wild. She follows Popo and Kami, and there's nothing too crazy. Then we have Kibito Kai and Supreme Kai, and then obviously we move into the Grand Kai, and then we move into Beerus, and then we move into Whis. So it's a 7-phase fight. Yeah, again, nothing too interesting or crazy going on with Kabuto Kai. They are immune to stunning and sealing, which is standard practice throughout. And they also have the chance to cause some debuffs to us with their super attacks as well. There's nothing too gimmicky about them. So in terms of the team, obviously as our lead, we've gone with the, so there you go, you can see by the way them attacking, you can see here that they can stun. It wasn't sealing, it was stunning that they can do, but you know, I'll get there. But yeah, basically it's pretty straightforward in terms of difficulty. I don't think there's anything too major to mention that I haven't mentioned already. Obviously our lead is the Easy Aid Goku Ultra Instinct Sign, who can transform into Goku Ultra Instinct. He's a Realm of the Gods lead, category of 160%, which is okay. It's not the highest lead skill, but it's okay. It's, you know, it's fine. He raises attack and defense permanently on his super attack, and he has attack and defense of 150%, and he will awaken if our HP goes below 50%. It doesn't, unfortunately, even though that would have helped us out, but if he did awaken, we would have still raised attack and defense, but we would have just had the great chance of evasion, as well as some better attack, which I think would have helped us out, because we were a little bit low on damage. So in terms of the missions, there's also a mission to finish the event in 15 turns. We unfortunately did not get that done, but it's very easy to do. You can use any team to achieve that. You can take your best team to do so. There's really nothing important to watch out for here. It's a pretty straightforward, IDBH. I don't think there's a significantly difficult component that you need to be aware of. So I think from that perspective, you shouldn't have any major issues. Of course you can, but I just don't think you do need to have any major issues. So yeah, obviously talking about our units, just in a little bit more detail. So of course, Goku is our lead, and our friend lead, as mentioned before, is the Int Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta. They're a 170% lead. They also give 30% extra to our Pure Saiyans, and we've got 1 or 2 on the team, so that helps. They also can transform, very, very cool. Exchange, I guess, into just Super Saiyan God SS Vegeta, which we do at the Beerus stage. And the reason we do so at the Beerus stage is because we want the extra damage. Beerus is physical type, and we need the extra crit chance, because really otherwise we just don't have a lot of damage. So it just does help to have that situation kind of resolved. And then of course, beyond that as well, we do also, I think just transforming them is pretty cool. That's really about it. There's actually not too much in the way of distinct clarification as to why. But there's plenty of Realm of the Gods units to choose from. So in terms of lead, I do think MUI Goku or the Blue Duo are the kind of best route to go here. I think the Blue Duo are obviously the best, so I would definitely take them if you have them. In terms of the rest, pretty straightforward stuff. We have Tech Supreme Kai, who's a solid unit in the first slot. He tanks pretty well, he has guard against all types, and he boosts the rest of the rotation. So all in all, a pretty decent selection. Tech God Goku obviously has massive damage reduction against movie bosses, which is going to come in very big handy against the physical Beerus, but he also has type advantage in the final phase against the Whis. So in general, he does a pretty good job, I think, at least, from that perspective. In terms of the other units that we're using, we obviously have the Strength LR Vegito, a very strong unit that has pretty decent stats and can stack attack and defense, which makes him very suitable for this longer form event, where he's going to be able to get a couple stacks in and have pretty solid defense. He will be facing a HEL unit. If his defense is not at around 450k, you are going to have to use an item, as he'll take quite significant damage otherwise. So just wanted to mention that, but he's very, very good. Obviously also very easy to obtain. And the final free-to-play unit that we're using is obviously the physical Int, or the physical UI Goku. A very, very strong unit that's very, very reliable. He has support for reps of Universe 7. He also stacks attack and defense, and he has a 50% chance to evade. It's important as well to get him to stack his attack and defense as much as possible, because obviously when he gets to the final phase, you're going to want to obviously make sure that you have all the necessary kind of components to him, because you don't want to end up in a situation where he isn't able to stack and he doesn't have enough defense, and then you're left in a very, very, very bad situation. As you could see, Grand Kai also has the ability to seal us, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, overall I think there wasn't too much to be aware of, and I think in general we had a pretty decent time when it came down to this specific fight. And last but not least, we had Transforming Goku. Transforming Goku is obviously very solid since his easy aim. Not facing any extreme units, which is the only real shame, I guess, for him as a unit, is the fact that he's not able to face a whole bunch of extreme units, because in here is generally actually super units, so he doesn't get that additional defense, but he does okay otherwise. He has fairly solid defense behind his final transform state, and he also has pretty solid attack stats as well. So it was a pretty chilled, pretty easy run. There wasn't anything too major that I think needed to be mentioned or needed to be factored. You'll notice I moved Tech Supreme Kai off rotation in this from the Beerus part onwards. You don't need to do this. I just wanted to try out some things and switch up some of the units. So yeah, in general, pretty just decent kind of vibe. As you can see, transformed the Vegeta and the Goku exchange unit because I just thought that they would be better transformed. We have access to a higher level of crit chance, and I thought this would help speed up the process during the Beerus phase. I thought it would be a pretty solid little speed up and will enable us to just kind of like have a not so cramped time against Beerus. I thought it would just be a lot better and give us a little bit more flexibility into taking him out, at least overall. Here you can see Beerus firing off his attack. You can see we take a fair chunk of damage, but nothing we can't really handle. If Beerus fires off a super against one of your Int-type units, you might be in a bit of a spot of bother, but you should survive. With Int, MUI Goku stacking and the Int God Boys having pretty sizable defense, but Beerus can evade, which is slightly irritating, obviously as well. So we've just skipped a little bit ahead, mainly because, I don't really think there's too much to the Beerus fight, and we'll do the same with the Whis fight, because I just don't really think there's too many, significant components. So Whis is very similar. He can evade, he can also disable evasion, he can also stun you, and he will lower your attack and defense as well. So Whis is slightly irritating, but again, nothing you can't really handle. You just need to be obviously a little bit concerned about the strength of Vegeta. I think he's someone you need to be a tiny bit concerned about, but I think in general you shouldn't have a huge problem. Obviously, I think Whis is pretty interesting, but again, he only hits it around the 600 to 650k mark with his super, which is decent, but isn't anywhere close to red zone level. So, and obviously Infinite Dragon Ball history isn't supposed to be the same thing. So yeah, I think overall I would say it's a pretty decent event. I think it's a lot of fun. Obviously we have a lot of low damage units, which is why we only did it in 21 turns, not 15. But the Supreme Kais, the UI Goku, the physical one, they don't really do damage. So you can replace those with pretty much any decent Realm of the Gods team unit and you'll be fine. Especially if you put in AGL Super Saiyan Gogeta or something, then you'll definitely be fine. But I wanted to try and show off a couple of the free-to-play options that we can use. And yeah, obviously as part of the missions, there's the Legendary Existence and Realm of the Gods missions. But yeah, that's it from me. Let me know what you think, and bye.